There's something in your home right now that may be quietly pushing money away from you. And the strange part is this: you probably pass it every single day without seeing it for what it is. It might be near your front door. It might be in a drawer. It might be sitting on a shelf so long that your eyes no longer even register it. But it is there, silent, ordinary, familiar, and still it keeps working against you. Have you ever felt like you earn, plan, save, sacrifice, and somehow end up in the same place again? Then stay with me, because this is not just about money. It is about what your home is saying before you say a word. Old grandmothers who understood household wisdom at a deep level never ignored these signs. Never. They knew a home can either welcome flow or choke it. It can either support peace or train the mind for lack. And today, I want to show you 3 things that many people keep in their homes without thinking. 3 things that may be shaping your financial life more than you realize. The first one looks harmless. The second one hides in plain sight. And the third one is the one almost nobody talks about. But once you see it, you cannot unsee it. So before you click away, look around your house in your mind, because by the end of this, you may not see your space the same way again. Maybe this story hits close to home because you've done the hard part already. You have worked long hours. You have skipped little pleasures. You have said no when you wanted to say yes. You have tried to be careful. You have tried to be smart. And still, at the end of the month, the money feels thin, like it slips through your hands before it ever gets a chance to rest. You get a little ahead, then something breaks. A repair shows up. A bill comes due. An emergency steps in like it was waiting at the door. It starts to feel personal, not just frustrating, but heavy, like there is an invisible ceiling above your life, and every time you rise, you hit it again. Many good people live with that feeling. They are not lazy. They are not careless. They are tired. They are disciplined. They are doing their best. But the results never seem to match the effort. That is why this matters so much. Because sometimes the problem is not only in your paycheck or your budget. Sometimes it is in the environment you live inside every day. Sometimes your home is training your nervous system for stress, clutter, delay, and fear without you noticing. And once that happens, your choices begin to follow that pattern. Your focus weakens, your decisions get rushed, your standards slowly drop. Watch closely here, because this is where most people miss the real issue. They keep trying to fix money with money, while the space around them keeps whispering lack from morning to night. In many traditional homes, especially in families that pass down strong household habits, people understood something modern life often ignores. The home is not just where you sleep. It is a living message. It teaches you what to expect. It teaches you what to tolerate. It teaches you whether life is orderly or chaotic, open or blocked, careful or careless. Jewish grandmothers were known for understanding this in a very practical way, not as fantasy, not as a trick, not as some secret shortcut, as lived wisdom, as daily discipline, as a way of arranging life so that blessing, dignity, and stability had room to stay. They knew the physical world affects the inner world, and the inner world shapes action. They knew that if your home is full of signals of delay, damage, and fear, your mind starts moving the same way, slowly, defensively, narrowly. But if your space is clean at the points that matter, if what surrounds you is whole and purposeful, if your money is treated like a living tool and not a trapped secret, something begins to shift, not by magic, by alignment, by attention, by repeated signals that say, there's room here, there's order here, there's care here. And that is why these 3 household traps matter. They are simple, they are common, and they are powerful. The first one sits where life enters your home. The second one hides in the objects you stopped noticing. And the third one sits at the center of fear itself. Keep listening, because once these connect, the whole pattern becomes impossible to ignore. The first trap is the front entrance. And yes, it sounds small. That is exactly why people overlook it. Think about the moment you open your front door after a long day. What do you see first? Shoes piled up with no place to go, old bags waiting to be dealt with, a coat that should have been put away weeks ago, a stack of unopened mail, a broken umbrella leaning in the corner, maybe keys, receipts, random boxes, delivery packaging, things you meant to move and never did. It looks normal because it happens slowly, one item, then another, then another. But in older household thinking, the doorway was never just a doorway. It was the mouth of the home, the place where life enters, the place that sets the tone. One older woman once visited a struggling neighbor and saw the entry in chaos. Before she even sat down, she pointed to the door and said, "That is where the problem starts." Not because a messy entrance creates poverty in some magical way, but because an entrance full of clutter sends one clear message. This place is crowded, delayed, burdened, and not ready. Every time you walk through that doorway, your body reads the signal before your mind does. Tightness, disorder, overflow, no room. And if the very first breath of your home feels blocked, that feeling follows you further inside. This matters more than people think. So stay with me, because the deeper meaning of this first trap reaches far beyond shoes and bags by the door. In old Jewish homes, the doorway carried weight. It was treated with respect because the entry point was seen as a place of intention. Many families placed a mezuzah on the doorpost, not as decoration, but as a reminder that the threshold matters. But here's the part people forget. A sacred sign on a neglected doorway does not fix the message of the space. If the entrance is buried under clutter, the signal is still clutter. If the first thing your eyes meet is chaos, then chaos becomes the welcome. And what you repeat, you strengthen. That is why wise homemakers paid attention to that zone with almost fierce seriousness. They wanted the entrance to feel open, breathable, calm, not perfect, not expensive, just clear, ready, honored. That kind of space does something powerful to the mind. It softens panic. It reduces friction. It helps you enter your own life without feeling ambushed by unfinished things. And once that happens, better choices become easier. You answer messages sooner. You stop avoiding small problems until they become large ones. You start moving with more order. That alone can change the direction of a month. So here is the move. Today, not next weekend, stand at your front entrance and remove what does not belong there. Not later. Today. Clear the shoes that should be stored. Throw out dead paper. Return the bags to their proper place. Wipe the area clean. Let the door open fully. Let the first thing you feel when you walk in be space, not pressure. It sounds almost too simple. I know, but keep going. Because the second trap cuts even deeper. The second trap is broken things, chipped things, half-working things. Things you keep because they still sort of function, because replacing them feels wasteful, because fixing them stays on a list that keeps moving from one week to the next. A cracked bowl, a mug with a chipped rim, a chair that wobbles, a lamp that only turns on if you hit it a certain way, a drawer handle hanging loose, a toaster that burns one side and leaves the other cold, a phone screen split by thin, bright lines, a clock with dead batteries that has been frozen at the same hour for months. These things seem small, ordinary, easy to excuse, but older household wisdom saw them very differently. In that way of thinking, an object is not just an object. It is a vessel. It is meant to hold, support, serve, contain. And when a vessel is broken, it can no longer do its job fully. That matters. Not because a chipped plate changes your bank account overnight, but because a home full of damaged things trains you to live beside damage without responding to it. It teaches you to normalize the incomplete. It lowers the standard quietly, piece by piece, day by day. Some of the most careful grandmothers were relentless about this, not because they were rich, but because they refused to let brokenness become the emotional wallpaper of the home. They understood something sharp and simple. What you tolerate around you becomes what you begin to tolerate within you. Think about how this works in real life. You sit in the unstable chair and tell yourself, it is fine. You drink from the chipped cup and say it still holds coffee. You keep the dead pen in the drawer for no reason. You leave the broken blender on the counter because maybe one day you will fix it. You walk past the loose cabinet hinge. You ignore the torn curtain, the cracked mirror frame, the flickering bulb, the stuck window, the drawer that only closes halfway. None of these alone feels serious. Together, they create a home language. A constant repeating message. Almost works. Good enough. Close enough. Later. Someday. Not now. That message does not stay in the walls. It moves into your habits. Soon you delay calls, avoid decisions, accept poor service, postpone repairs in your finances, and let important things sit too long. This is why older homemakers did regular sweeps. They checked the kitchen, the drawers, the shelves, the corners nobody else looked at. If something was broken, it was repaired quickly or removed, not hidden in a closet, not pushed into a garage where decay simply became invisible, dealt with, finished, closed. That action sends a very different message to the mind. My space supports me. My tools work. What is here is ready. What is damaged is not my standard. And that message matters more than people think. So tonight, walk room by room. Open everything. Look carefully. Make a list. If it can be fixed this week, fix it. If not, let it go. Do not build a museum of postponed decisions inside your own home. And here is what makes this second trap so powerful. Broken things do not only take up physical space, they drain attention. They create tiny background stress signals all day long. Your eyes catch them even when your mind does not. Your body notices the friction, the awkward drawer, the weak charger, the missing button, the pan with a loose handle, the closet door that never shuts right. All of it adds weight. It is hard to feel clear when your environment keeps reminding you of neglect. It is hard to act with confidence when your daily tools keep saying, this is the best we can do. But that is not the best you can do, and your home should not keep rehearsing that lie back to you. This does not mean you need luxury. It does not mean everything must be new. Some old things carry warmth, beauty, memory, and strength. Keep those. Treasure those. This is not about being fancy. It is about being whole, clean, functional, intentional. A simple chair that stands firm is better than a stylish one that sags. A plain plate with no cracks is better than a beautiful one with a broken edge. A modest home filled with cared-for items feels stronger than a larger home full of neglect. And if this part already has you looking around differently, wait until the third trap, because this is where the fear around money itself comes into the room. This is where the script turns personal. And this is the one many people will recognize instantly, even if they have never said it out loud. The third trap is hidden money. Money tucked into books. Money inside coat pockets. Money in old envelopes, under mattresses, in kitchen tins, in shoeboxes, in drawers no one opens, behind folded towels, inside jars, under stacks of paper, between pages, behind photo frames. Many people do this thinking they are being careful, thinking they are being wise, thinking they are creating safety, and sometimes the reason runs deep. It comes from hardship. It comes from watching life turn suddenly. It comes from families who learned that systems can fail, that banks can close, that trust can break, that tomorrow is never guaranteed. So they hide, they scatter, they keep emergency cash where only they know it exists. On the surface, that can feel like control, but listen closely, because this is where caution can quietly become a trap. When money disappears into hiding places all over the house, it stops being a tool and becomes a secret. It stops having a clear job. It stops being organized. It stops growing. And over time, something even worse happens. The person hiding it begins to live in a relationship with money shaped more by fear than by purpose. Not stewardship, fear. Not planning, fear. Not movement, fear. That changes everything, because what you fear, you clutch, and what you clutch too tightly often loses its power. Stay with me here, because the deeper lesson is not just about cash in envelopes. It is about whether your money is alive in your life or buried inside it. There are families who, after a loved one passes, discover money hidden everywhere. Bills inside books that were not opened for years, old envelopes in winter coats, cash tucked into boxes in closets, notes folded into purses no one used anymore. Sometimes the money is still there. Sometimes it is damaged. Sometimes it is forgotten for so long that it helped no one, earned nothing, built nothing, protected nothing. It simply sat, quiet, still, sleeping in the dark while life kept moving. That image carries a hard lesson. Money was never meant to be frozen in fear. It was meant to serve, to support, to strengthen, to move where it is needed. In old financial wisdom, money is often compared to flowing water. Water that moves stays fresh. Water trapped too long goes stale. The same idea applies here. Hidden cash may feel safe in the moment, but scattered money often becomes weak money. It gets lost. It gets forgotten. It sits outside any real plan. And more than that, it sends a message to the mind. I do not trust life enough to organize this. I do not trust myself enough to face it directly. I must hide it from the world, maybe even from myself. That is a painful message to repeat over and over, because money responds to attention, not superstition. Attention, clarity, intention. When you know where your money is, what it is for, how it moves, and how it grows, your thinking changes, your confidence changes, your decisions change, and that is when the whole emotional climate around money begins to shift. This does not mean you should never keep emergency cash. Of course, you can keep a reasonable emergency amount accessible, but accessible is not the same as scattered. Prepared is not the same as hidden in panic. Wise is not the same as buried in 10 different places you may not remember 6 months from now. The healthier move is simple. Gather it, count it, face it. Put it where it has a clear purpose, a savings account, a proper emergency fund, a place where it earns even a little, a place tied to a plan, a small investment, a debt payment, a needed purchase that improves life, a gift of charity that keeps generosity alive in your financial world. In many old teachings, blessing is tied to movement, responsibility, and open-handed action, not waste, not recklessness. Movement. That is the key. Money that is directed can do something. Money that is organized can support a future. Money that is tracked teaches calm, but money buried in secret corners teaches tension. It keeps the nervous system braced. It feeds the idea that disaster is always one breath away. And fear, no matter how understandable, is not a financial system. Fear does not build. Fear reacts. Fear hides. Fear whispers. What if nothing else comes? Healthy money thinking asks a stronger question. How can what I have now be used wisely, clearly, and with purpose? That question opens doors. And if you are feeling the weight of this part, that is good. It means you are seeing the pattern, maybe more clearly than you ever have before. Now look at these 3 traps together and notice what they all have in common. The blocked entrance, the broken objects, the hidden money, different forms, same pattern. Each one creates blockage. Each one tells a story of pressure, damage, or fear. Each one quietly trains the mind toward scarcity. When the front of the home is crowded, new energy feels unwelcome before it even enters. When the home is filled with damaged tools and chipped vessels, your standard begins to sink without permission. When money is hidden away like a frightened secret, wealth stops acting like a tool and starts acting like a wound. This is why changing these things can feel bigger than cleaning or organizing. Because it is bigger, it is symbolic, yes, but it is also practical. Your environment shapes thought, thought shapes action, action shapes results. A cluttered entrance makes daily life heavier. Broken things increase friction. Hidden money kills clarity. Fix those three, and you do not just change your house, you change the signals you live inside. And once the signals change, choices begin to change too. You may answer that email faster, apply for the better role, cancel the draining expense, track your money honestly, finish what you start, ask for what you are worth. These shifts look small from the outside. They're not small. They're the beginning of a different rhythm, and rhythm matters, because a stable life is not built in one dramatic moment. It is built through repeated signals that teach your mind, your habits, and your home to move in the same direction. So here is the challenge, and do not just listen to it like background noise. Do it. Today, clear the mouth of your home. Give your entrance the feeling of space and readiness. Then walk through every room and remove the silent symbols of neglect. Repair what is truly worth repairing. Release what is not. Stop storing broken promises to yourself in drawers, closets, and corners. After that, gather every hidden dollar in the house, every envelope, every folded bill, every forgotten stash. Bring it into the light. Count it. Choose its purpose. Let it become part of a real plan instead of a private fear ritual. If you do these three things, do not expect fireworks overnight. Expect something better. Expect a quieter mind. Expect more honesty. Expect less friction. Expect a stronger sense that your life is no longer leaking energy in 10 small places. That is where real change begins. Not in fantasy, in alignment, in order, in completed decisions. And if you feel resistance rising while you hear this, that means you have found the exact place where change wants to happen. Resistance often guards the door to the next level of peace. So do not run from it. Use it. Let it show you what has been sitting too long, hiding too long, breaking too long. This is not about shame. It is about opening a door that should have been opened a long time ago. You do not have to change your whole life in one day. That is not the point. The point is to open one small space and let momentum begin. Clear one doorway, remove one bag of broken things, gather one stack of hidden cash. Start there, then do the next thing. In many old teachings, when a person opens even a small opening toward change, a much larger opening appears in response. That feels true in everyday life too. One clean entrance makes you want to tidy the hall. One repaired room makes you notice the kitchen. One organized pile of money makes you ready to face the rest. Action creates more action. Clarity creates more clarity. And soon the home begins to feel different, lighter, more awake, less apologetic, more able to hold good things. That matters. Because your home should not feel like a place where life stalls out. It should feel like a place that supports movement, thought, rest, dignity, and growth. A place where what enters can stay in peace. A place where what is broken gets attention. A place where what is valuable is treated with purpose. If that kind of home has felt far away, let this be the moment you stop thinking of it as far away. It begins with ordinary choices, not glamorous ones, powerful ones, quiet ones. The kind that reshape a life from the inside out while nobody else even sees the first steps happening. And if something in you has been saying, yes, this is exactly what I needed to hear, then do not let that feeling fade the second this ends. Use it. Speak a new sentence over your space. Say, my home is open to blessing. Say it while you clear the doorway. Say it while you throw out what is broken. Say it while you gather what has been hidden. Let the words match the action. because words alone are not enough, but words with action can become a turning point. And maybe share this with someone who works hard but cannot seem to move forward, someone whose house has become a storage place for delay, damage, or fear. Sometimes people do not need more pressure. They need a mirror. They need a simple truth at the right time. They need someone to say, "Look again, there may be a blockage you have been living with so long that it feels normal." That kind of moment can redirect a whole season of life. So take this seriously, not with panic, with steadiness, with courage, with clean hands and clear eyes. Open the door, clear the path. Make room, choose wholeness, put your money where it can breathe, and let your home stop rehearsing lack. Let it begin rehearsing trust, order, care, and living flow. Because your season of being stuck does not have to be the end of your story. It may only be the moment before the room finally opens.